I have 2 children.
No need to show, just speak, and I will tell you.
I have 2 children. They have such competition going on because my son's wife probably feels jealous toward my daughter, thinking that I pay more attention to her.
This is inevitable. When there is love, people constantly compete, constantly get offended about who gets more attention and who gets less. That's how love works.
I try not to offend anyone. I had a situation when my daughter injured her spine. She couldn't walk at all.
Yes, of course, you need to help her.
She spent almost 2.5 months working on her spine 4 hours a day to avoid surgery. She slept 7 hours, fed her child, went to training. Then she came home. She slept on the floor because she couldn't even get into bed. Then in the evening, I stayed with the child and she went to train again until 11 p.m.
And did she get better?
Yes.
You understand? That's what we talked about yesterday. That's exactly how it happens. 4 hours of continuous movement, and the nervous system recovers.
That's 4 hours of just physical exercise. And warm up before that. At least half an hour to warm up, doing different procedures.
What is your question?
When I go to help my daughter, conflicts with my son immediately begin. They say that my daughter's children are grandchildren, and my sons are wolf cubs.
You should understand that you're currently going through a bad period in your relationship with your son. This bad period is now at its peak. It began a little over a year ago, and it will end in approximately 9 to 10 months. This whole time will be difficult. Now is the peak. In a month, it will be easier. You just need to understand that this is how fate works and simply forgive. You need to think about God.
I forgive everyone.
When you feel heavy inside, you need to turn to prayer and listen to how people pray. Live remembering God. And this is the only relief. You cannot achieve any justice now because your son has very strong tension. He is feeling offended. And this doesn't come from you. This is their competition. It has existed since childhood. They always competed with each other about who gets more time with mom and who gets less. His self-esteem is a bit hurt. He considers himself unloved, although in reality he actually received more attention.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's true.
That's why all this is happening. He is hurt now because he used to get more attention, and now he gets less. This person is hurt. This is his life test. You just need to not take it so close to heart. You will be a little alone now, just a little, this year. There will be a feeling that you are not understood. This will happen. You need to live with it. Such a life is designed to strengthen faith. When relatives stop understanding you, you need to understand that God does this so that we come closer to Him. Because when we constantly think about relatives, live for them, we don't develop as a person. The purpose of human life is to get closer to God. Therefore, God sometimes separates us from relatives so that we become closer to God. You understand? God has separated you from your relatives. He didn't give you anything in return. Did He really not give you anything in return?
I'm starting to work on myself, listening to your lectures.
You lost contact with your relatives, but today you met me. And do you think this is by chance? No. In this way, God is giving you something, right? He didn't leave you in hell. He gave you an elder so that you would think about him now. This time is meant for him now, not for children. If you try to find justice, it will be even worse. You just need to wait now. In 6 months, your son will calm down. When fate acts harshly, you should understand that it influences your mental state. There are 3 states of consciousness. There's a central position, which I call kindness. The further from the central position, the greater the influence of fate. Fate must first capture the psyche, and then it pulls a person from the central position. Kindness means that I don't claim anything. All people can make mistakes, all people can say foolish things. As soon as a person begins to seek justice, and you have already started looking for justice, fate begins to act more strongly. You feel that they are wrong. How can they think like that? Your daughter barely survived. Next comes hatred. First kindness, then justice, then hatred. At the stage of hatred, fate kills a person. At the stage of justice, it cripples them. At the stage of kindness, it cannot influence a person. But you should now look not from the perspective of feeling bad, but from the perspective of how your son lives in general. Why does he think this way? If you look at him, you can see that he feels lonely with his wife, meaning there is not a deep enough relationship. It seems to him that his wife doesn't love their child enough. The child seems to be alone all the time. He thinks, my mother loves my child the most. And my mother, who loves my child the most, is constantly at my sister's. That's how he thinks. That's his state. He's lonely, feeling bad, and has no one to help him. That's why he spoke like that. And you get offended thinking that he is aggressive toward you, but he's just feeling very bad right now. It's difficult. That's why he behaves this way. If you know this, you can feel his state, understand him, then you don't feel offended.
To be honest, I'm not offended, but I feel sorry for him. I know how she treats him.
You feel sorry for him, so help him, but in order to help a person, you need strength. If you start communicating with him now, he will drain you immediately. He'll suck all the energy out of you, because he is in a very difficult state right now, and a person gets energy from God. Therefore, you need prayer. There are 3 degrees of closeness. The first degree is when you communicate closely with a person. This is the highest quality communication with them. Right now, this communication is impossible because he is in a state of strong mental impulse. He is aggressive. The second degree of closeness is when you write letters to him, and not even letters, but talk on the phone, which is easier. But even by phone, it's impossible right now. The only option left is to write. You just need to write kind words to him, and that's all.
I send him heart emojis and tell him that I love him, that everything will be fine.
Write to him, I understand you, my dear.
But on the phone, we immediately argue.
Because that's how fate works. There are 3 degrees of difficult fate. The first degree of difficult fate is when you can communicate together, but it's very hard. This is the first degree of difficult fate. I simply call it difficult fate. The second degree of difficult fate is called harsh fate. This is when people start talking and a scandal ensues. It's harsh fate. You currently have a harsh fate. There is also cruel fate. When cruel fate comes, people lose control and start to betray each other, cheat on each other, and hatred arises. Such fate is not affecting you yet. When harsh fate comes, it teaches people self-sufficiency. Let's say a husband and wife are living together and harsh fate has come. They try to get closer to each other. The closer they get, the stronger they are pushed away, and then they may be thrown apart forever. Therefore, when you see that you start communicating with someone and arguments begin, you don't understand each other, at this time the Lord is teaching you. He's teaching you to be filled not by a close person, but by nature, good people, and God. These are natural spiritual sources that replenish people with energy. And during this time, you need to keep a bit of distance from your close ones. Just wish them happiness, write kind words, and try not to communicate.
What if they ask? My son's wife works from home. They ask me to babysit a small child, and at the same time they say they can't cope, because both of them work.
That's true. The child is now neglected. The child is a bit wild and suffers a lot because of this. Your son suffers from 2 things. First, that the child is wild. And second, that mom doesn't love him, mom doesn't come.
When I come, the child runs after me back and forth, and he is very happy.
You have an incompatibility with this small child. You get tired of him. You come and he wears you out.
I still try to play with him. He's always running around looking gloomy. We play a lot.
Do you understand everything?
Yes. Dr. Torsunov, we have a combined question here. We would really like to see you at the retreat. But in my case, I've already left my husband for 3 days to come here. I had problems in my relationship. This dilemma is tormenting me.
I have to decide, right?
Men make decisions.
You'll tell your husband, Dr. Torsunov said I should go. It will be even worse. I'll say go to the festival, and your husband will say, who is Dr. Torsunov? He's taking my wife away. What is this all about? Will you cry?
No, I really want to go.
You should ask him.
I asked. He said, do as you wish. Do what you want. I said, I will go for 3 days. He said, yes, that would be good.
So go together with him.
He doesn't understand the language.
He can rest there, walk in nature. You will translate for him.
I think next year maybe I can ask for translation.
Maybe there will be a translation this year too. You need to ask the organizers. Maybe there is someone who will translate. Someone will assist you with translation. You should ask him too. If he agrees, then everything will be fine. He should decide, not me.
Dr. Torsunov, may I ask a question? About compatibility. You just mentioned this. I live in a common law marriage. After communicating with my partner, I feel drained. I feel very drained, and he's a very good person.
You have low compatibility.
Not high, yes. And I feel it on an energy level. And he tries. He makes an effort.
What's the conclusion?
What would you advise me to do?
Just leave him and that's it.
It's not easy to leave.
Then live together. That's the second option.
And his daughter from his first marriage is very jealous of him. He's a widower.
Then leave him. But seriously, you're asking me what to do. My dear, what to do? He behaves harshly with you. He's a harsh person. You get tired. He's rude. He doesn't understand how to behave with a woman. This is your test. Where does this test come from? It comes from the past, from your previous life. In a male body, you were also rude and got this result. And you're facing your fate now. You want happiness in your personal life badly. You just want a family. But he doesn't want to get married. There's no way out. His daughter's behavior is difficult.
She's already an adult.
In this life situation, a question immediately arises. What is this situation teaching me? Why was it specifically given to me? Why should I endure this? And the answer is that you have a very strong attachment to personal happiness. You suffer greatly from the lack of personal happiness, and this attachment prevents you from going to God. Therefore, God has specifically given you such a test. You live with a harsh person, there is no complete satisfaction in life, and you, like all women, are trying to mislead me. All women never tell everything. They mention certain specific details about a person. For example, she didn't say that the person is responsible.
He is a good person.
You didn't tell me that he's good. You said other things. The person is responsible. He tries to treat you kindly. You are being capricious because when a woman doesn't feel happiness from a man, she becomes capricious. You don't get happiness from this. You get tired with him, and it's hard for you. You think, what's going on? The person is good, but there's no happiness, because God wants you to think more about him. As soon as you start praying more, thinking about God, you will have more happiness with him too, because you will become kinder. The more a person thinks about God, the more kindness in the heart. And kindness in the heart helps to accept the situation.
Yes. He also has a son who has mental problems. It's very difficult.
He doesn't have an easy life.
Very much so.
He lives in a state of severe mental tension. That's why he can't cope. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm saying that you are facing a challenge. You need to think more about God, develop kindness within yourself, pray, and the more kindness you have, the better you'll understand the situation, the easier it will be for you to live, and you will calm down.
Do I need to keep my distance from him? Just stay completely away from him?
Not exactly distance. You need to fill yourself up. You spend a lot of energy with him, get tired, but you need to learn to fill yourself with God, with nature.
I constantly go out into nature. I'm constantly connecting with nature. I live near the ocean, park, water. I replenish myself, but then I lose energy very quickly. I lose a lot of energy.
Well, that's your fate. It's simply your fate. You don't have other options. Before this, it was even worse for you.
Before this, yes. That's why I appreciate the good things I see in this person.
If you appreciate it, then why are you asking questions?
Because I lose a lot of energy. I get very tired.
Well, nothing can be done about it. You just need to pray more, that's all. This is your fate.
Can I ask one more question? I had a very close relationship with my late mother. Her love was suffocating. And it's been 3 years since she's gone. I can't get over this threshold, the fact that she's gone.
It's the same answer. I've already told you that you're too attached to people, but you need to learn to be attached to God. The Lord is testing you from all sides. He's saying that you want too much from people, but you need to think about me. That's it, my dear. You've asked many questions. One question per person.
Hello. I have a question. Should I stay here or go back?
Go back where?
To Uzbekistan.
Go back.
Yesterday you said that a person who lives here should be strong, purposeful, but I feel some tension. My brother is also here. I need to help him. They want me to help.
Where does he live?
In New York. They want me to be here, to help. My mother is in Uzbekistan. I don't know what I want myself. I find it difficult here. In Uzbekistan, it was easier to get up. I would wake up at 5 in the morning, pray. Here I can't do it. There's more negative energy here.
You need to stay here. It will be difficult for you. There are 2 reasons. First, it will be easier to get married here. Second reason, you need to wait 1.5 years because in Kazakhstan, in 1 year and 2 months, there might be difficult events. It's better not to be there during that time. I don't know if they will happen or not, but the probability is very high.
I am from Uzbekistan.
In Uzbekistan, you have a good fate. It's good there.
My mother is there too.
You see how important it is to understand where a person lives. Stay here for 6 months for now, but it's not certain that you will remain here. It's still unknown. In the situation you're currently in, you won't be able to stay for long. This is not your situation, but maybe it will change. Maybe someone will appear in your life here. If no one appears in 6 months, you'll go home.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you because when I had a crisis in my life, your lectures helped me a lot, and I came to God. I prayed a lot.
First you cried for a long time, then God gave you lectures, then you prayed. I see everything.
Yes. I really prayed a lot. I would get up at 5:30 all year round, despite having a flexible schedule. I found out about today's lecture completely by chance yesterday. I came. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Is that all? You just wanted to thank me? Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Torsunov. I have a question about having children. How can I come to having children? How can I understand that I am ready? Because on one hand, society pressures me. Relatives, too. They tell me, you're a 31-year-old woman. What are you living for? What interests do you have if you don't have children?
Do you have a husband?
Yes. I've been married for 10 years.
10 years, what's the issue?
Because we're young. There was emigration. We have other interests besides children, traveling, working. But I understand that time is passing. The clock is really ticking.
You need to conceive.
Do you think I'm ready for this?
You will never be ready. You're afraid.
Yes, I have a great fear, even of conception, of intimacy.
Is your husband a saint? There was no intimacy?
No, he's not a saint. Please give us your blessing.
One woman approached me with a child and her husband and said, Dr. Torsunov, thank you for the child. That woman had 11 abortions. I saw that she had strong static tension. I made her do cold water therapy, stay in the water, and she overcame this problem. Her pregnancy proceeded without the threat of miscarriage. You'll have to do the same.
My husband doesn't want to yet.
Then deceive him. Get pregnant and that's it. What's the issue? Neither of you wants to, but you need to. You shouldn't delay. Later it's harder to carry, harder to give birth, harder to raise a child. The older a woman is, the harder everything becomes.
Next year we're planning to move to England. It will be another emigration.
Why? Why do you have to move to another country?
Because my husband's work is connected to England. Social life there is different than in America. There's no school shootings, and so on. No dangers.
School shootings are dangerous, yes?
There is such a chance, yes. Or should we stay here?
You won't be able to make it there. The mentality of people there is very cold, harsh. You will simply get tired of all this. There is even more bureaucracy than here. Everything is so rigid, cold. Just go there, stay for some time, and then decide. You don't need to move right away. Just try to go there and live there for a month and look at the people. Have you ever been to England?
Yes, I liked it. Maybe because it's closer to relatives, to my homeland. There's not even a time difference.
What does England have to do with your homeland? What are you talking about? Better not to rush around. You need to end all this. This is just restlessness. I think it's better not to move, but you can try. I think it will be a waste of time. I can prove it to you. When you came to America, you lived in another city. You lived somewhere else and nothing worked out for you there.
We first came to Manhattan, then to Brooklyn.
Anyway, wherever you came, things were bad for you there. Then you moved here and it became easier, right?
Partly yes, because we lived in rental apartments. And when we moved to another state, we bought a place.
That's what I'm talking about. I see how your fate flows. You came, at first there was nothing, then you moved and it got better. And now if you go there, there will be nothing.
Well, yes. There we'll need to start from scratch.
You won't be able to start there, it will just be zero. But you need to go and try.
Of course, when you try, you have two options. Either it works out or not.
That's it. Everything is fine. Everything is decided, but it's better to think about children now. You don't like New York?
I don't.
Go somewhere to Miami, San Francisco, or Los Angeles. To the sea, for example.
This city and its rhythm exhaust me.
You just need to move to the sea and live by the sea. This city simply doesn't suit you. That doesn't mean the country doesn't suit you. There's no need to change a country. You need to go to the sea. Move to the sea. Move, but not to another country. You need the energy of the sea.
Yes, I know, I'm a Pisces by zodiac sign.
You have a strong planet, Venus. You need to live by the sea. You will feel good there. But in England, the sea is different. It's so cold, people are a bit cold. And you are so warm, you have a cheerful temperament. You need to move to the sea and live there.
And what about children?
You have to have children.
Do you like the ocean?
I like everything. I like you. I like the ocean. I was feeling like a bird when I was running there. Those who were with me saw that it was good. We were running there. Everything was fine.
They ran with you?
They walked and ran with me, trying very hard. Here's Yana. She ran with me for a long time, tried with all her might. I liked the bathhouse too. Good Jewish bathhouse.
Good staff.
Yes, elderly Jews.
My son is 47 years old. He lived 15 years in marriage, and they divorced. You know, since childhood, he doesn't open his soul to me. Hello, how are you? Goodbye, Mom and Dad. And that's all. He was never close, and now it's hard for him. He says he fell out of love with his wife.
Are they divorced?
They live separately.
Do they meet, communicate?
Yes, in very good relations, and she comes to visit me.
What is the question?
The question is, how can I help my son?
He just needs your kindness. Comfort him. He just needs kindness. Everything is difficult for him. He is suffering.
He was never close to me.
Now he is close. When a person suffers, they become close. You need to love your son. You need to be kind. His wife was a bit harsh with him, and he just became disappointed in her. Not that he fell out of love. He just didn't expect that she would behave like this. He didn't expect such behavior from her. He will accept it slowly. He shouldn't abandon anyone.
She wants him. He doesn't want her.
He's going through a difficult period in his life right now. You should always encourage people to stay together. Always help them to be together. Because fate torments people, ruins their lives, separates them, and then later people regret that they broke up. You must try to help them stay together. He will forgive her gradually. Next question.
My sister is in another country for a very long time already. I've been living in America for 15 years.
Do you miss your sister?
Terribly. I really want to see her here.
You love her.
Here next to me is her husband. He came here.
And she can't come?
She was in Russia, now she's in Mexico.
Well, from Mexico you can already get here on camels.
Exactly.
Why can't she come? What's the reason?
We don't know.
Is she afraid to come here?
There might be obstacles.
But people escape from Mexico to here.
Yes, but she can't even do that.
She's not allowed into the country?
Everything is official there. She's just waiting her turn.
What's her name?
Anastasia.
Does she want to come here?
She wants to, but she likes India more. She lived in the Himalayas for 8 years.
Did you live with her?
Yes, in the Himalayas.
Does she practice spiritual discipline?
She started it some time ago.
I don't see any obstacles at the moment for her to come here. The obstacles have ended. They ended 10 days ago. Something happened. You know about this event that occurred, and this will help you.
Thank you.
Regarding the date of birth, do you know the birthday? Give me the photograph. We'll determine the time of birth now. What day, what year?
1983, October 25th.
At 1 a.m. she wasn't born yet. At 2 she wasn't born yet. At 3 she wasn't born. At 4 it's getting closer. There's still a difference between labor and birth. At 5 a.m. labor started. At 6:43 in the morning she was born. All right, my dears, I'm starting the lecture. For 2 days we've been talking about the most important thing, that relationships require 2 things. First is strength. People lack strength. We talked about static tension. It is removed by water and by the stationary position of the body. There is dynamic tension which is removed by prolonged, continuous movement. If there's negative attitude, it is overcome by fasting and sauna. Many people suddenly started feeling unwell when they were lying in the sauna. Because toxins were released, it means an energetic blockage was reached but couldn't be removed because toxins were released intensely. This doesn't happen in just one sauna session. And all this affects life. That means when there are lots of toxins, negative attitude gets triggered in a person. When we were in the bathhouse, bad fate affected us through the staff. When we were standing in ice-cold water, the girls started complaining about how bad the staff was. It was negative attitude. But you need to forgive, treat people kindly. You need to develop kindness. If there's no energy, a person physically cannot withstand the burden of fate. If you couldn't enter the ice-cold water, this is a sign of very strong general static tension. Now inside you there is very strong calmness. You feel calm, it's some unusual state. But a person should always live in such a state. Those who ran with me this morning spent time in the bathhouse. They understand what I'm talking about now. In this state, it's easy to solve problems because there is strength. But when there's no strength, a person physically cannot communicate, build relationships. It's very difficult to tolerate a person who has a difficult fate. When there's no strength, it means a blockage in the relationship with the husband due to static tension. You need to constantly remove it, cleanse it, because it causes dislike for the person and irritability. You don't have enough strength to endure. This is static tension, and the energy of water makes it possible to remove this. We talked a lot about this because this is the foundation in life, my dear friends. If there is no energy, all psychological knowledge about how to behave, how to live, it's all a waste of time. To put it simply, no strength, no life. The second topic I started was about the nature of family life relationships. I talked about this nature, that it has a light style, that you need to evoke respect from your loved one through your behavior, treat them with kindness, and only then discipline them. Kindness and discipline are two facets of love. That means that if you don't treat someone kindly, you won't be able to discipline them. When a person becomes grateful, then they can change. Today I would like to explain to you the second fundamental part of relationships. For example, the woman we met at the bathhouse today. She behaved incorrectly. And this can be evaluated from the position of truth or from the position of kindness. When a person evaluates everything from the position of kindness, true knowledge is activated. What concerns that woman, there are things we don't know about her. The first thing is that she has a dangerous situation at work. She might get fired. She's already older, and the situation is unstable. That's why she's so nervous. The second thing, the manager of this bathhouse is a very pedantic person. He monitors everything. There are cameras everywhere. He watches how and what happens, then scolds them for what occurs. Moreover, this woman is very tense. Her mental state is weak. If you look at life from the position of kindness, you can feel a person's life, not necessarily as deeply as I do, but perhaps to some degree intuitively, just like when I told you about your husband. I just told you about the situation. For example, when this lady was talking about jealousy, we looked at her son, how his life is developing. All this can be done through kindness. When you activate kindness, you can understand the situation of the person you're dealing with, and then it will be easier for you to accept their behavior. Kindness is not a human strength. You cannot just suddenly become kind. That would be pretending. True kindness is not our strength. We don't have kindness. We always react to fate either with truth or with hatred. Kindness must be received through remembrance of God. We need to fill ourselves with kindness through remembrance of God. We need to feel holiness in our hearts. We need to listen to the prayers of those who pray. Try to absorb them, repeat with them. Listen to the sound of prayer, repeat with them, and absorb kindness into yourself. Kindness is a power that enables us to understand other people more deeply. Every person affects us somehow and causes unpleasant feelings in us. And kindness is the power that makes it possible to deeply understand and remove these unpleasant feelings, because if unpleasant feelings intensify, we destroy our lives. We don't know that if we go further down this path, we'll get the result we don't want, and then we'll regret it. Therefore, kindness is very important in relationships. This also needs to be developed. This is supported by kind people. Kind people are people who are given by God. When a person lives well, correctly, helps everyone, cares for everyone, God gives a gift to this person, a kind person. This gift is not just a friend. When you are next to this person, it becomes easier for you to live. You feel relief. A strong relief comes. This is a unique state. This can only be felt when you really have such an experience. And it's very important to appreciate it. There are 3 types of kind people. There is senior, equal, and junior. All these people are from God. The Lord acts personally through them. How does He act? He takes away suffering. For example, suffering begins. A person runs to a lecture, to a psychologist, to an astrologer. This person doesn't know that only God can take away your suffering. He can simply solve all problems. In 1 second, He can solve all issues, but only through kind people. He will not act in any other way. Therefore, you need to do good deeds, wish happiness to everyone constantly in life, on the street, at home, and wait for when the Lord sends kind people, kind friends. When a person feels bad, they simply go to a kind person and talk with them for 10 minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes. And through this person's heart, you experience complete relief, you start feeling good, you solve all issues, because the Lord can ease a person's life with the help of His power of love. The same happens in a temple or at a lecture, or even during communication with a junior who loves you. They also give strong relief to a person. Therefore, we must seek kindness everywhere, seek God. This is very important. God is kindness. Now, there is a war. People have become embittered. In Russia, in Ukraine, everyone has become embittered, but this means people cannot cope. When they can cope, they have enough kindness in their heart. Otherwise, tension appears inside, which turns into protest against evil and so on. Therefore, the second fundamental thing in relationships is kindness. You always need to watch yourself. Am I treating these people kindly or not? If not kindly, then there will be no further relationship. Now let's move on. There is a family relationship which has a light style. Light style means that you never need to clarify relationships. You don't need to prove anything. You will never prove anything to a close person because there is no truth there. There is no knowledge in a loving relationship. There is only love. If you start to act through knowledge, explain something, prove something, then love is lost. People lose strength. They can no longer live normally. They destroy the relationship. Disappointment arises. A person becomes disappointed in their close one. This is the result of searching for the truth. But if you behave in a light style, accepting, forgiving a person, then they will understand everything themselves. They will understand everything themselves if you don't impose your truth on them. Our personal life is like a step into an abyss, a step into loneliness, because no one understands anyone in their personal life. You remain alone. It's impossible for you to explain anything to a close person. They cannot understand you because they are strongly bound by their desires. They themselves want you to understand them. If two people badly want to be understood and interrupt each other, then no one will understand anyone. As a result, strong desire prevents you from being happy in family life. Therefore, there is only one way out: to simply want the Lord, want God. When a person wants God and treats their close person kindly, then they themselves first begin to understand the close person. You begin to understand first, and then the close person begins to understand you. In your family, who should understand the close person first, you or your close person? In your family, who should understand first? We should be first. Why? Because God chose you, because you came to the lecture. Your close person didn't come to the lecture. They don't have knowledge. You have knowledge, so you will have to become kind first, understand your close person, achieve gratitude from them, and then they will understand you. If we talk about business relationships, about business life, then here too you need to be kind. But this kindness has a different nature. You need to understand that business relationships are relationships in which there is no closeness. This is very important to understand, because people sometimes want a good team, want something that would feel soulful. This happens, but it doesn't happen immediately, not in the first place. You need to understand that in business relationships, it's very important to accept the situation in your life in general. We often rebel. As one song goes, "This world was not invented by us. This world was not invented by me." If all this had been invented, I would have made it for myself. If, for example, I'm building a house, I make it for myself. But this world, New York, it wasn't designed for you, tailored for you. God made His New York. This is His New York, and you will have to accept it. You will have to accept the laws of this country. You will have to accept the rules of work. This needs to be accepted. It seems unfair at first. In Germany, people complain to me, "You can't be late even for a minute." But that's in Germany. People there are very pedantic. Here there are also certain rules. As they say, you don't bring your own rules into someone else's hen house. Each hen house has its own rules. This applies to the entire universe. Wherever you are, when you go to another country, the rules differ greatly there. Therefore, you'll have to accept a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to understand that God created this world. Once, a businessman came to my festival. But he wasn't even a businessman, rather a high-ranking executive. At first, I thought some kind of inspection had arrived. Such people didn't usually come to us. And he walked around, looking at everything so businesslike. He was a director of a large enterprise. And when he approached me, he said, "Dr. Torsunov, they want to put me in prison. When I return from this festival, legal proceedings will begin that could lead me to prison. I asked, "What's the reason?" He said, "We have a large corporation and the management is being stupid, doing everything wrong." I wanted them to understand, so I rebelled a little, did things my own way, and they got angry with me and decided to take me to court. And I said, "Well, that's how it is." He said, "So where is God? You're always talking about God. Why isn't God on my side? Why can they put me in jail? For what? I'm doing good things." I said, "Well, what if your actions are simply destroying the leadership? Can a leader make mistakes? Can you make mistakes?" He said, "Yes, of course, everyone makes mistakes." I said, "Well, they make mistakes too, and now you're not giving them chances to make mistakes, and your actions are destroying the leadership of such a large corporation. So many people will suffer from this. Many people will lose their jobs. New management will come in that doesn't understand anything at all. Everything could get even worse. And therefore, to prevent such destructive consequences, God is allowing you to be imprisoned, so that you don't destroy the fates of many people." He said, "Now I understand. Now it's clear. What can I do now to avoid going to prison?" I said, "Well, call this manager and say, 'I understand everything.'" He started laughing and said, "Dr. Torsunov, it's not that easy in our corporation. There, nobody reacts to words. Words are just words for people at that level, so words won't help." I said, "Then God can help, because the Lord can impart knowledge to a person's heart that you have changed." And I said, "Let's go to the retreat." And he came to the retreat. We were loudly repeating prayers there. Spiritual music was playing loudly, and he really surrendered, got involved. After the retreat, unexpectedly for him, he received a call from the boss he had opposed, who was trying to put him in jail. And he said to him, "How are you feeling there?" Despite the fact that he had laughed at me, he began telling his boss what I had told him, that I understand everything in this situation. I decided not to go against management. It's incorrect thinking. The boss thought about it and said, "Okay, come back to work. We won't put you in jail." That's how it ended, as a result of prayer. And therefore, the first thing a person needs to understand is that you need to accept your superiors as they are, no matter where you are or work. In each country, there are different leaders. They have their own shortcomings, and they also have their seniors. They have their own shortcomings too. You have to accept all this because it wasn't created by you. If God made everything here this way, then it's His plan. That's how it should be. You can't adjust everything here to suit yourself. Therefore, a person first, wherever they live, wherever they work, they must first accept the situation in their life. Once in Kazakhstan, a person approached me and said, "Dr. Torsunov, I don't feel successful somehow. I can't be successful in this country." I looked at him and said, "Do you respect Muslim culture?" He said, "I'm a Christian." I said, "No, do you respect Muslim culture?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, how can you be successful here if you smell bad?" He said, "What do you mean I smell bad?" I said, "Well, if a dog in a house feels that you don't like the owner, it will attack you. People also feel the same way. They feel whether you are one of them or not. Today, when we entered the bathhouse, they felt I wasn't one of them, and they started to attack me. They felt, these people are strangers. You need to love the culture in which you live, the country in which you live, understand the leadership, the elders, and then life immediately becomes much easier for you. Then you need to understand what business relationships are. Business relationships are relationships in which you must fulfill your duties. In family life, you simply have to love, be patient, and forgive the person. That's your duty. Fulfill your family obligations. A man has his own responsibilities. He must feed the family. He must sign the marriage certificate because it's a man's duty to take responsibility for a woman. Then he must earn money. A woman must bear children, take care of them, must cook, help with household chores. These are obligations. There are also responsibilities at work. A person has certain regulations. They must fulfill them. You might say, "I don't like all this." Whether you like it or not, you have to do it. And if a person can't live like that, they only want to do what they like, they don't want to do other things, then they won't be successful at work. Because work is asceticism that you need to get used to. And you need to understand that work itself is not designed for deep satisfaction. People are all looking for deep satisfaction in work. To reach satisfaction in work, you need to go through a certain path. And why is the siren from the street so loud right now? Couldn't they make it quieter?
It's required that way so that when an ambulance or fire truck is driving, everyone can hear them and let them pass.
You see, you have a positive attitude toward this country. You know the American mentality that they are like God, driving in their car, and here they need to let someone pass. You understand? This is good. I deliberately asked the question this way so that you would show kindness toward your country and tell me about it. It is very important to understand that a person develops through work and activity. One cannot be happy right away because the first stage is a hobby. One just wants to enjoy work, and if it doesn't bring enjoyment, one leaves. A person can't do anything about it. The next stage is work according to abilities. A person feels that they are succeeding. Good money comes in. The first stage of a person's development at work, the person wants to get happiness from work, and they want happiness more than money. They are looking for a job where they would feel good, but everywhere they make you do something, not always what you want. And there is a constant conflict between your desire to do something and what you are forced to do. If a person moves to the stage of ability, then money becomes more important than happiness. If the money is good, a person tolerates some inconveniences. The third stage of a person's development is work according to one's nature. This is when a person's money is already in second place for some reason, and helping other people is in the first place. A person wants to benefit people with their work. They don't want to just live in vain on this earth. This is called work according to one's nature. This is the highest level. It gives happiness from work to some extent, but you should understand that this gives happiness only to some degree. Because true deep happiness a person can only get from serving God. We need to separate these things. Some people don't separate them. Some people want to get happiness from everything. That's why they organize a small library in the toilet, put a TV there. All this leads to hemorrhoids, because if you sit for a long time, hemorrhoids will definitely appear. This means that you can get a certain amount of happiness from this process itself. Don't try to get more of it. The same goes for work too. People go to great lengths trying to get more happiness from work. But what is work designed for? It is designed to satisfy natural needs. There is no difference. You need to work in order to eat, in order to have shelter, in order to simply survive in this world. This needs to be understood very deeply. And if a person understands this, they give part of their life to society in order to have the means to live. But you will say, Dr. Torsunov, it's not interesting for me to live like this. Good. Then develop spiritually, and your spiritual development will give you the opportunity to work according to your nature. This is a whole path that you need to follow. Maybe you will do the same thing you are doing now, but you will simply do it not for money, but to help people. Every work helps people. And that's exactly what they pay money for. But money cannot be paid for what you do without helping people. If you eat, nobody pays you money for it, because at that time you are helping yourself, right? In order to get paid, there needs to be some benefit to others. Therefore, deep satisfaction from work is possible if it turns into a mission. Mission means a second fate. A person is driven by desires in life. All our desires that we have are our fate. They come from the past, and fate acts on us through desires. And all the suffering in our life, all difficulties come through desires. But you shouldn't act according to your desire. You should do what God wants from you, but God won't reveal such a thing right away. First, you will develop and live in such a way that He will feel that you yourself want what He wants. Then He reveals His desire for you. This is called a mission. Moses did not want to do what God asked him to do. He argued with God. He said, I will not go to the Pharaoh because I stutter. How will I explain to him everything you tell me? God said, okay, you will go with your brother Aaron. Aaron doesn't stutter. He will speak your thoughts. You will think, and he will tell Pharaoh what you think, and I will give you knowledge about what to think. So they agreed with God. Moses had a mission. God wanted this from him very much, because Moses had the qualities. And when a person lives for God according to a mission, then life becomes very happy. A person experiences deep satisfaction from life. The mission may not necessarily be as great as Moses. It can be a simple mission. A person can simply do good deeds in life. When a person is not developed, their mission is not connected with work. Work is one thing, mission is another thing. They're separate. The person works, then goes to the temple to do something there, and prays. Or simply reads a prayer at home. At first, this is not a mission. They do something for other people and God. But mission means that God needs something from you. And it also comes in two types. The first type is when you do this outside of working hours. And the second type is a more developed mission, when you already stop working and do what God wants from you. But this is already a very high level of life. I'm just explaining to you that there are different lives. It depends on the development of a person. If a person lives at the hobby stage, they will rush around, constantly changing jobs, and they will not be satisfied with what they do in life, and they will not have money either. At the second stage of work according to abilities, a person works hard. A person has money, has a job, but gets tired there, and they don't feel deep satisfaction. During this time, when you are at the stage of abilities, you need to find time for development. The first thing you need to start doing is to perform healing practices so that energy starts flowing. You need to establish a daily routine. Stop eating meat and fish, which take a lot of energy and lead consciousness into depression. And then you need to start doing these 3 types of healing practices: prolonged continuous movement, stationary position of the body, water fasting. You have to learn to be filled with the energy of water and sun. Today we were running and there was a girl next to me. She said, "We started running too late. The sun is already bright." And I said, "On the contrary, it's good. We are charging ourselves with the energy of the sun." Those who ran with me today cleansed 3 energy layers with the sun. We had a deep cleansing with the sun. The attitude towards the sun is different. Why? Because there are different perceptions of the world. People often don't understand what is actually good. They perceive it as some kind of danger, some kind of difficulty. Therefore, at the stage of work according to abilities, a person does not experience deep satisfaction from it, but they can begin to perform healing practices and start getting satisfaction from nature. A person can start doing good deeds and start getting satisfaction from people. They can go to the temple, pray to God, and get satisfaction from God. And thanks to this activity outside of work, a person moves to the next stage of development, activity according to one's nature. But my dears, try to understand one thing. If you work all day long, this happens only because you have set material goals higher than your possibilities. Do you want to fight for a small apartment in New York? But it's not always achievable. You need to work yourself to the bone, and sometimes you'll only get this apartment by old age. But I can tell you one piece of good news. That if a person doesn't set such a goal in their life from the start, but sets development as a goal, it's very risky to live like that on one hand, right? You don't set an apartment as your goal, but simply development. This means that you leave yourself free time to work on yourself, to develop. 2 or 3 years will pass, and you will move to another level of existence. There is horizontal development, which is when you save money. This is, such a deadly way of life. You kill yourself. And there is upward development when you change your internal status. This happens as a result of working on yourself, prayer, energetic filling with the help of nature. Today I taught you how to fill yourself with energy. You have now felt this taste. Without me, you would never have entered that pool in your life, and you wouldn't have stayed in the steam room for so long either. But today you received this knowledge, and now you know that you need to run. You need to immerse into the ice-cold water. This is a different level of life, a different fullness, a different quality of life. Then a person begins to comprehend prayer and begins to comprehend how to take care of others. And the status of life increases for such a person. When status increases, then earning money no longer requires so much energy and time. Then a person moves to another level, work according to nature. A person begins to receive great happiness from work. Why am I telling you all this? Because it is directly related to the topic of relationships. Because when a person is not satisfied with their life, there will be no relationships. You don't need to worry too much about not getting too deep satisfaction from fulfilling your body's daily needs, like going to the toilet. It's the same at work. You see, you don't need to get too involved in making your work super enjoyable. This work is designed to satisfy our vital needs. It provides money, food, shelter, everything that is necessary for life. Just like going to the toilet, it's also a necessity. It's impossible to live without it.
Can I ask a question? How many times a week can one stay in water like this?
Once a week is best. You know this bathhouse. Stay for 14 minutes in the water, then go to the steam room. If you go there without me, no one will pay attention to you.
No. When you get into the ice-cold water, they'll notice immediately. Nobody does it like that there. They jump in and get out right away. But everyone will watch in our case.
And what's the water temperature there?
9 degrees. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, and see you soon.